Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Cbse Courses with Riti. Another interesting video of carbon and its compounds. In the previous video, we started with the chemical property of carbon, that was combustion. It means burning of carbon will give us carbon dioxide, water and high amount of heat and light energy. But this is not the limit. We are going to learn more chemical properties of carbon and its compounds. So the second one is addition. Addition is highly used in factories. It is one of the very important, and it has come as a previous year question as 1 marker, as 2 marker, 3 marker and so many a times. So I would like your attention to be on the topic. Please listen to it carefully. Now I'm going to start it. Addition is the name of the chemical property. Okay? Addition. Addition means adding, summing, kuch plus karna. That is what addition is. Now I will tell you that what are we going to add. Addition se we get to know that we are going to add up something. But what is that something we are going to learn now. The process of converting unsaturated. Here, unsaturated, what do you mean by unsaturated? I hope by this point of level, you all know what is unsaturated hydrocarbons. Unsaturated means the alkene or alkynes. Or more in the simpler way, the carbon compounds having double or triple bond between the carbons, like this or this. This is your unsaturated. So the process of converting unsaturated hydrocarbon into saturated hydrocarbon. Just let me rub it. Saturated hydrocarbon. Saturated means single bond. Single bond. And I gave you a way to remember कि single का S, saturated का S. So saturated means single bond, unsaturated means double or triple bond. ये clear है? This must be clear to you till now. If not, so you need to watch the previous videos. I highly recommend you to watch. Okay, so the process of converting unsaturated double या triple bond वाले carbon के compound into saturated मतलब single bond by adding hydrogen. तो इससे we got to know कि हम add क्या करने वाले हैं. We are going to just a second. We are going to add hydrogen. Just let me. Okay. It is not clear. Oops. Okay. Now it's ready to go. So it's the process of converting unsaturated hydrocarbons into saturated hydrocarbons. And as I said, addition means kuch add karna. So here we are going to add hydrogen. Now I am not saying that it is the only way. I am not saying that you just have to add hydrogen here. Okay, I will elaborate it. पहले जो लिखा है उसको समझते हैं. Then I will elaborate it more. तो पहले एक एग्जांपल लेते हैं. The process of converting unsaturated hydrocarbon. Let's take an unsaturated hydrocarbon. Unsaturated ethene. Let's take that. So double bond carbon ethene and hydrogen. This is your ethene. Okay, plus adding hydrogen. सीधे H ऐड किया. By adding hydrogen, it will give me what? इसमें मुझे हाइड्रोजन अब ऐड करना है, कैसे करूंगी? You will say कि okay, but there is no space here. यही कहोगे ना कि यहाँ तो स्पेस है ही नहीं. This carbon 1 2 3 4 valency complete. This carbon 1 2 3 4 valency complete. How will you add hydrogen? This is where we are actually going to convert unsaturated hydrocarbon to saturated hydrocarbon. Why? मैं क्या करूंगी? I'll say कि ये डबल बॉन्ड जो है इसको रिमूव करके सिंगल बॉन्ड लगा दो और ये 4 हाइड्रोजन एज इट इज लिख दो. 1 2 3 4. अब मुझे क्या लिखना है? H2, 2 more hydrogen. How will you write? 1 2. ये है how you will do it. ये दोनों हाइड्रोजन कहाँ से आए? From this hydrogen. और इस इथीन से आया this rest. मैंने क्या किया? I just removed the double bond and put it a single bond. जहाँ पे डबल कोवलेंट बॉन्ड बन रहा था, आई जस्ट मेड इट एज सिंगल कोवलेंट बॉन्ड एंड बाय दैट हाइड्रोजन ऐड होके अब ये क्या बन गया? इथीन बिकेम, लेट मी जस्ट राइट इट डाउन, इथीन बिकेम ethane. So can you see how I converted unsaturated? Ethene क्या है? Unsaturated है, double bond है obviously. By adding hydrogen add किया and it became saturated hydrocarbon, that is ethane. Just write it down as it is. They can ask you what is addition reaction. Define it with an example. So when they ask you to define it with an example, you can write this example as it is and you will get the marks. No worries. Okay. Now, let us do one more example. This example is, I think, in your book as well. But let's just do one more example. Can you name me? You can't, obviously. Let me just think of one. And you know what? Make one example of yourself as well. कोई भी unsaturated hydrocarbon लो, hydrogen add करो, and then write it as saturated compound. Do it yourself. This is a homework. Okay. मैं यह example लेती हूँ. One, two, three, 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4. This is propene plus H2. Or I can write it like this. Plus hydrogen. What it will give me? What it will give me? Same way, double bond हटाना है. Okay. So double bond हटा के मैंने लिखा C and this one as it is. Balancing. ये वाला as it is लिखा. 1 2 3 4 भी as it is लिख दिया. 1 2 3 4. अब now 1 hydrogen. So it became propane. Okay. Clear? Simply क्या करना है? Unsaturated carbon plus hydrogen करना है और उसको saturated लिख देना है. That is what you have to do. Now, the examples you can do more and more. सबसे वैसे good example was the previous one जो कि you can write down in your examination. Now, second thing. Although in your books it is only given that by adding hydrogen, but as long as I can see, It is not like only hydrogen, but we can use some other elements as well. Elements pata hai, like hydrogen is an element, oxygen is an element, chlorine is an element. So I am trying to say कि मैं इस definition को थोड़ा alter करके लिख सकती हूँ. The process of converting unsaturated hydrocarbon into saturated hydrocarbon by adding any element. Although in your books very particularly it is written adding hydrogen. ठीक है? So you have to stick with this definition only, but I want your concept to be clear. So I'll give you an example of using some other element. And the element I'm going to choose here is chlorine. So again, ethene बनाया मैंने. Plus किया मैंने Cl2. It will give me double bond हटाया and putting Cl as it is. खुद ही जगह बन गई. डबल बॉन्ड हटाते साथ खुद ही प्लेस बन जाएगी. As soon as you will remove the double bond ना, you will find the place yourself. आपको सोचना पड़ेगा नहीं कि कहाँ मैं क्लोरीन लगाऊं, हाइड्रोजन लगाऊं. बस रिमूव द डबल बॉन्ड, जहाँ पे वैलेंसी इनकम्प्लीट है वहां लगा दो. Nothing else you can have to do. So you can see ये इथेन में I added this chlorine to become ethane, or I will say it as chloroethane, right? More particularly मैं इसको chloroethane कहूंगी because it has chloro. मैं इसको एक halogen कह सकती हूँ if I look at a perspective of your functional group. Cl है, Cl is what? Halogen. Bromines or chlorine, iodine, they use as prefix लगता है, तो chloroethane. तो मेन मोटो है बस कि आपकी बुक में एडिंग हाइड्रोजन ही दिया हुआ है एंड यू हैव टू स्टिक विद इट, बट इट इज नॉट कंपल्सरी कि आपको हाइड्रोजन नहीं ऐड करना है. इट वाज अ लिटिल एक्स्ट्रा नॉलेज कि कोई भी एलिमेंट विल डू द सेम थिंग as long as it is capable of making a compound bond with your with your carbon. Cl की वैलेंसी क्या होती है? Cl is chlorine, argon, potassium, calcium. Chlorine, argon, potassium, calcium. 20, 17 is the atomic number of chlorine. So 2, 8, 9, 10, 7. So you can see इसकी वैलेंसी क्या है? +1. So it is very capable of making a single covalent bond with your carbon, right? तो इस तरह के कोई भी एलिमेंट का मतलब ये नहीं था that any element blindly. I meant the element that is capable of making a bond with carbon. The element which is capable of making a single bond with carbon, वो आप यूज कर सकते हो rather than hydrogen. हाइड्रोजन भी क्या है? It is capable of making a single bond with carbon. इसलिए मैं यहाँ हाइड्रोजन यूज कर रही हूँ as per your NCERT textbook. But my point was कि आप कोई और एलिमेंट भी यूज कर सकते हो which is having valency as 1, जो कि एक सिंगल कोवलेंट बॉन्ड बनाएगा. ये हो गया. So think we learn. मैं इसका एग्जाम्पल प्रॉपर जो हमारी बुक में उस हिसाब से दे देती हूँ. So this is the example. Basically you have to remember by your heart कि इथीन प्लस हाइड्रोजन करोगे तो इथीन बन जाएगा. प्रोपेन प्लस हाइड्रोजन प्रोपेन. प्रोपाइन प्लस हाइड्रोजन तो पहले ईड में आएगा फिर एन में. दैट इज अनदर केस. आपसे बेसिकली इन को एन में का एग्जांपल है. So addition is nothing but the process of converting unsaturated hydrocarbon into saturated hydrocarbon by adding hydrogen. As simple as it is, and it should be crystal clear to all of you. ठीक है? Now the question rises कि करना क्यों है, why to do this process, why to convert unsaturated hydrocarbon in saturated carbon. You might question me that in the beginning of the video I said that it is highly used in factories and so on. So why? Now I'm going to answer that particular question. Addition reaction is also known as हाइड्रोजिनेशन. तो अब यहाँ पे इस पॉइंट पे मेरी बात प्लीज ध्यान से सुनना. मैंने कहा आई कैन से, मैं अगर आपको सिंपल वे में बताऊं, एडिशन इज द प्रोसेस ऑफ कन्वर्टिंग अनसैचुरेटेड हाइड्रोकार्बन इनटू सैचुरेटेड हाइड्रोकार्बन्स बाय एडिंग हाइड्रोजन. लेकिन मैंने यहाँ कहा कि यू कैन से दैट बाय एडिंग एनी एलिमेंट, ऑल्दो ये कहना नहीं है, मैं समझाने के लिए कह रही हूँ. ओके, सो बाय एडिंग हाइड्रोजन को मैं बाय एडिंग एलिमेंट भी कह सकती हूँ. बट अगर मैं सिर्फ इस पर्टिकुलर डेफिनेशन पे जाऊं जहां पे मैं अपना दिमाग लगा के बाय एडिंग एलिमेंट्स ना लिख के आई एम राइटिंग इट एज द प्रोसेस ऑफ कन्वर्टिंग अनसैचुरेटेड हाइड्रोकार्बन इनटू सैचुरेटेड हाइड्रोकार्बन्स बाय एडिंग हाइड्रोजन. तो ऐसा प्रोसेस जो एडिशन रिएक्शन में जब एडिंग हाइड्रोजन आप यूज करते हैं, दैट इज ऑल्सो नोन एज हाइड्रोजिनेशन. हाइड्रोजिनेशन. और आपके टेक्स्ट बुक के लिए में से ये पॉइंट as it is लिखे हुए हैं and they will come as it is that what is the other name for addition reaction. So you will say hydrogenation. What is addition reaction? The process of converting saturated hydrocarbon into saturated carbon by adding hydrogen. ठीक है, इतना क्लियर. नाउ जो हाइड्रोजनेशन है, दिस एडिशन रिएक्शन और दिस हाइड्रोजनेशन is widely used in factories to convert vegetable oil into vegetable घी. ये थोड़ा छोटा हो गया, आई एम सॉरी फॉर दैट. मार्कर भी नहीं चल रहा ठीक से. और जिसे वनस्पति घी. ओके, इसे अब ये क्या लिख दिया मैंने, कह रहे वैसा, आई डोंट नो वेदर यू सेइंग और नॉट. ओके, लेट मी जस्ट टेल यू. मैंने अभी तक क्या कहा, एडिशन रिएक्शन इज अ कॉमन रिएक्शन टू कन्वर्ट अनसैचुरेटेड इनटू सैचुरेटेड हाइड्रोकार्बन्स. इसमें हम बस एडिशन ऑफ हाइड्रोजन के यूज से ये कर लेते हैं. एंड दिस प्रोसेस इज वाइड आल्सो नोन एज हाइड्रोजनेशन. ठीक है. नाउ आई सेड कि हाइड्रोजनेशन जो है ना, इट इज वाइडली यूज्ड. Hydrogenation is widely used in factories. What I said was hydrogenation is widely used in factories to convert vegetable oil. अब vegetable oil क्या है? The oil obtained from vegetable, right? वही है. But this is a unsaturated hydrocarbon. Vegetable oil is a unsaturated hydrocarbon. And what about this vegetable की, जिसको हम हिंदी में कहते हैं वनस्पति घी. तो समझ आ ही क्या होगा, दिस इज a saturated. तो मैंने बेसिकली क्या कहा कि ये तो एक प्रोसेस है, ठीक है. अनसैचुरेटेड इनटू सैचुरेटेड को हाइड्रोजन की हेल्प से कन्वर्ट करने को एडिशन कहते हैं, जिसको हाइड्रोजनेशन भी कहते हैं. लेकिन ये जो प्रोसेस है, दिस एडिशन रिएक्शन इज हाईली यूज्ड इन, इज वाइडली यूज्ड इन फैक्ट्रीज. बट फैक्ट्रीज में कैसे यूज होता है? यू नीड अ प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल, राइट? मैं ये तो नहीं कह सकती अनसैचुरेटेड कार्बन टू सैचुरेटेड को फैक्ट्रीज कहते हैं. यू सेड व्हाट? What is the example? What is the practical? What's the practical use? What is the logical use? So the logical use is कि जो vegetable oil we obtain from vegetables, the oil, that oil is basically a unsaturated hydrocarbon. और या vegetable घी और जो वनस्पति घी is a saturated hydrocarbon. तो एडिशन का मतलब क्या था? अनसैचुरेटेड टू सैचुरेटेड कन्वर्ट करता है बाय एडिंग हाइड्रोजन. सेम काम होता है फैक्ट्रीज में. वेजिटेबल ऑयल दैट इज अनसैचुरेटेड हाइड्रोकार्बन इज कन्वर्टेड इनटू वेजिटेबल घी व्हिच इज अ सैचुरेटेड हाइड्रोकार्बन बाय एडिंग हाइड्रोजन. By adding hydrogen. This is the example. So if they ask you what is hydrogenation reaction, why it is widely used in factories, or explain the use in factories, so you will पहले ये definition लिखोगे, फिर ये वाली line लिखोगे, फिर ये लिखोगे. It's widely used in factories to convert vegetable oil, that is an unsaturated carbon, into vegetable ghee, vanaspati ghee, that is a saturated hydrocarbon, by adding hydrogen. This should be your answer in your answer sheets. If you write it, I don't think there's a chance to deduct any marks, but each and every point is important. इसके आगे भी कुछ points है, I'll tell you. इतना clear है? I hope it is clear. Addition एक simple reaction है जो कि ये लिखा है. इसी का मैंने factories में I told you logical. Like एडिशन रिएक्शन तो बहुत सारे अनसैचुरेटेड हाइड्रोकार्बन होंगे इस तरह के वेजिटेबल ऑयल टाइप के, और बहुत सब कुछ कन्वर्ट होता होगा, हो सकता है. बट ऐसा तो जरूरी नहीं है क्या कि ये फूड है मैं इसको कन्वर्ट करूं ही करूं. बट वेजिटेबल ऑयल ऐसा फूड है जिसको वी कॉमनली कन्वर्ट इनटू वनस्पति की, हम करते ही करते हैं. तो जो वाइडली यूज होता है एडिशन रिएक्शन का, वो इसी काम के लिए होता है. द वाइड यूज ऑफ addition reaction in factories is for converting vegetable oil into vegetable ghee. ये सबसे prominent example, सबसे ज्यादा used, सबसे ज्यादा common example है and practical example है. We are clear with it? Okay. My red marker fell down. Okay. Now मैं इसके आगे कुछ लिखने वाली हूँ अब. I hope उतना लिख लिया था. अगर नहीं लिखा था so just pause the video, go back approx 10 seconds and you will find the text there. That's the benefit of YouTube, no? You can pause it, you can watch it at your convenience and so on. So, you're enjoying it, do subscribe. Okay. Okay. ये तो हो गया use in factories, right? Now, I have to tell you a fact. What it is? Unsaturated hydrocarbons are easy to digest, whereas saturated hydrocarbons are hard to digest. Unsaturated hydrocarbons are easy to digest, whereas saturated are hard to digest. Unsaturated are easy to digest. ये point is very important. So the question rises that when unsaturated carbons are easier to digest and saturated hydrocarbons are so hard to digest for us, then why we are converting this vegetable oil that is unsaturated into a saturated vegetable ghee? So this is for the profit making because it is more cheaper, I guess, and there are more uh, benefits to the profitable thing. So you can write that it is done. So अगर question आता है, if so there's not really big chances of it coming into the examination that why we are converting vegetable oil into vegetable ghee when vegetable oil being an unsaturated carbon is easier to digest than saturated carbon. अगर question आता भी है, so you can write it down that we done so for a financial or the profit. Okay, it is simply done for profit. Or else, if you eat vegetable oil or any unsaturated hydrocarbon, it will be easier for you to digest. Your small intestine will digest it much easier. Whereas your saturated hydrocarbons, मतलब single bond वाले, they are hard to digest. Your vegetable ghee is harder to digest. Okay. So I hope this is very much clear. This point is important. They can ask you, and sometimes we get confused. We see it like vegetable oil plus hydrogen gives vegetable ghee. And इस अगर आपको ये याद रहता है कि vegetable oil is unsaturated, so you think कि unsaturated must be hard to digest. क्योंकि ये तो हम अपने इजी के लिए ही कर रहे होंगे. So you tend to think like कि unsaturated carbons जो होंगे they must be hard to digest. इसीलिए हम hydrogenation करके addition reaction करके we convert it to a saturated compound because saturated compounds must be easier to digest. This is a human tendency. We think कि जो भी reaction हो रहा होगा this must be profitable for a human being, but not. You have to remember that this reaction is actually the opposite. ये profit making के लिए है. You can think of it as. And you have to remember कि vegetable oil जो है it is more healthier, more easy to digest, and the vegetable ghee is hard to digest. Okay, and it is not healthy for us. So with this, we are tend to complete the chapter here. Addition reaction is completed with this point, with this note. You just have to write this all. This is a very important thing. In the next video, I am going to tell you another chemical reaction of carbon compounds. Till then, stay tuned. I hope you like my video. If you do, so like, subscribe, and share my channel. Also, don't forget to ring the bell hang button so you will get all the notifications of my channel. I hope this chapter is super easy till now and you are very much clear with it. You should have no doubt by now. And with this, we complete this topic. In the next video, we are going to learn more and more about carbon and its compounds.